We know that some people are born more resilient than other people. Having said that, it's not just a trait. There are many things people can do to learn to be more resilient, and there are a number of skills people can learn or take advantage of to be resilient. We also know that people living with MS come to the disease with a whole host of life experiences and strengths that they already have. And so part of being resilient is recognizing what you're good at or what your strengths are and building on those strengths to deal with the challenges that can come.
Yes, I've got resilience that's maybe some of it was there to start with. Certainly a lot of it has been built up as a result of my physical disability. For quite a while, I had one leg and one arm that didn't work, and then eventually 2 legs and 1 arm that didn't work. And by then I was sort of getting used to the idea. I remember my daughter asking me, said, "Dad, what will happen when you lose the use of your other arm?" And my answer was, "I don't really know, but we'll see when we get there." But I'm sure if it happens, we'll find a way around it. Today, having to deal day to day and hour to hour with getting through having a significant disability, a lot of what I have in me that allows me to do that, I learned from my time riding a bicycle. Because if you're riding for, 100 miles in a day, which is absolutely normal for me, and halfway through and you get heavy rain or it gets cold or the road's steeper than you thought, you don't have much of a choice. I never thought of it at the time, but that's pretty good resilience training. And I think having done something like that, where however bad things might be, you got to hang in there.
The journey is going to take as long as the journey takes, and learning to accept that and to be flexible is incredibly difficult, but I believe I can reach the goals I set for myself as long as I give myself the time to reach them and am flexible and kind to myself in the journey that it takes for me to get there.
When I was an outdoor educator, I worked for a school that did 30-day wilderness expeditions. And once you're out there, you can't do anything about the weather. You just got to deal with it. There are times when you're on an expedition where you just have to keep going, even though the conditions aren't what you would have hoped for and aren't necessarily easy. Resilience is kind of like a muscle that you develop.
I've recently gone through a very difficult separation and divorce. And when something happens that really threatens your identity in that way, I think it's important to allow yourself to grieve. And then after that process, to really be able to look at life how it is at that point and then find another way around. Use your resources, pull your resources.
So for me, the violin, I try to have it be as close to my inner voice as possible and to portray the emotions that are called for by the piece, but also in what's going on in my life.
There's a process by which we say, okay, this happened to me, I didn't want this to happen to me. What do I need to do to get beyond this event? And then we shift the way we think about it from threat to think of it as a challenge. So when we have a potentially traumatic experience, and we adapt to it, then we are resilient. You still are somebody, and the challenge is now to find out who you are now and to make that bridge to the next bit of your life. And if you think of that as the challenge, then that's where the coping comes in. That's where you can think about, what do I need to do to get back to living a life, whoever I am now.
2 years ago, I swam Lake Washington, which is 2.4 miles across. It's a long way. It was a goal that I set for myself as part of my fitness goal and my rehab goal. That day, when the bank that we were swimming to came in sight and I could put my feet back on the ground, I was really overcome with relief that I'd actually done this thing that I'd set out to do. And it had really been, 4 years since I'd been in the hospital and been really, really sick and in a very dark place. And that I felt like I'd got that back.
Resilience is the ability to maintain or regain well-being and progress towards valued goals in the face of adversity. And that can include major changes, such as in the case of people with MS, maybe a relapse or a loss of function. They may still have pain and certainly fatigue, but those impact them less. They're able to know that they have those symptoms and manage them proactively without letting their life become about just those symptoms.